I've been to interview thrice. I have got good score, decent scores, whatever you term it in anthropology. So I'll be taking up you regarding this subject. Right. Fine, let's discuss. Let's have this orientation class in a better, like somewhat interactive session. Let me ask you one basic question. So why did you choose anthropology if you are right? So if you have already started, if you have already taken a decision that you wanted to have anthropology as optional, or whether if you are planning to take it, so what is the general common beliefs or things which make you to choose this optional? Yes, let's keep this interactive. Yes, come on. Yes, scoring marks, then yes, what did you say? Knowledge. Yes, then knowledge about anything specific. Society, good, good. Then yes, interest about the subject. Yes, next. Yes, anything else? Evolution. So tell me, how serious are you about knowing the evolution? Easy to understand, okay. Evolution, easy to understand. Yes, anything else? So what would be the basic things you have in mind when you choose an optional? So the basic things would be, as you said, most of the points you have covered. The basic things would be, it should be scoring. It should give decent enough score to get you a decent rank in the examination. And you should have a better mentorship program or someone to guide you through the syllabus, guide you through the optional subject, what to read, what not to read, how much time do you need to spend and all. Right? Then availability of resources, availability of material, test series. So these are the basic things. These are the basic things you generally have in mind while choosing that option. So when you come to the anthropology, so you have everything, like whatever you have in mind, like it gives decent enough scores. So reaching a plateau score of 260 to 270 is quite, I would say, not easy, quite achievable when compared to the other optionals. And from there to reach this golden score of 300 plus, whether you could make it to 320 plus, is in efforts of the student. But reaching this phase is quite achievable with the anthropology compared to the other options, like let's say like geography or PSIR or public administration. Right? So the quite interesting thing about this anthropology optional as such is, so it gives you this holistic perspective, something which you start seeing yourself, everything, your day-to-day practice, be it your attire or food you eat or the way you behave or your society, or some ritual practices you follow, everything, or any disease pattern, or how you understand the problem of ethnicity, all these will be covered as a data for under the anthropology. So anthropology is such a subject which glues different things. For example, let's think. So why do some people don't eat meat? Or let's take some burial practices. Why do some people, they bury the dead body, or some people burn it? Right? Or let's say let's see some taboo practices, that like something like they don't kill one kind of animal, or they don't eat one animal as a food. Though they eat other meat, they don't eat one particular animal. Right? How does society has these norms like family, marriage? Why marriage system is different in one community, in one segment of society, one religion, one caste? Why it is different? So all these things, along with this, so just think about the completely other perspective, like how come genes will decide an individual growth? How come very minute change in a simple allele, simple nucleotide base will give to some familial health disorders like hemophilia, thalassemia, right? Also, reading about the village social systems, how the caste thing came into Indian village social system. What is the meaning of dominant caste? How come different types of caste relationship evolved over the period? Right? Also, more emphasis about the tribes specifically. Why the specific practices of tribes are there, be it with their culture or language, or how come you can integrate without disturbing their basic cultural identity. How come, or how can you plan the developmental activities without making any disturbances in their ritual practices, their ethnicity? All this, see, we have started somewhere with the socio-cultural practice, and then we spoke about something called DNA, and then something like marriage, socio-cultural system, and then developmental activities in tribes. Very varied concept, but entire thing is intertwined, or entire thing is linked by the subject called anthropology. So it's not just about your marks, it's not just about the thing which will give you the rank, but it will make you understand, it will make you see the society, see your day-to-day activity, understand the problem, understand the current affairs problem. See, let's say example. So you might have seen there has been much tussle or much thing about this NEP policy. Three-language formula. Right? It has been much in news. So here, if you see from anthropological perspective, the defense over culture, or defense over the language as a symbolism, language as identity. So that you see the problem perspective in a different way. In a different way. So these are all the things which will help you, which will make you to see the things around you from day-to-day life in a different perspective. So as I was saying, you will get to know the basic physical aspects, right from the bones, right from the skulls, difference in the races, why he is tall, why he is short, why he is darker than me, why she is fairer than me, why his hair is curly, mine is straight. So the basic physical anthropology, the ritual practices, socio-cultural practices. Similarly, the archaeology or evolution part, how a man evolved from the basic. How come the primate or a chimpanzee or a monkey, how come these slowly evolved into the us? What are the different things, be it biological evolution or socio-cultural evolution, which has mooted all this development? Along with this, the language, linguistic anthropology. So these are the basic branches of the anthropology which you're going to study under the optional, be it physical anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology, archaeological anthropology, and this linguistic anthropology. So as I was saying, biological anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology, archaeological anthropology, and linguistic anthropology. Just Just for our discussion's sake, I'll tell you one simple story. It's not just story, but think actually happened. So there was one village in Madhya Pradesh. In this village, the tribes, Gonds tribes were there in Madhya Pradesh. So in Madhya Pradesh, these tribes, they were used to harvest this millet crop called Kodo Kukti millet for centuries together. They used to produce this crop. They used to have this as a staple diet, right? But slowly our government system evolved. Then we thought of having them included into the development aspect of the country. So government started providing PDS system access to these people. What is PDS? Yes. So through PDS system, these people got access to the things like polished rice, so other things. But once this system has started, over a couple of decades, suddenly when health data was taken in these specific tribes, there was high rise of anemia, child malnutrition cases. There was significant rise. No one understood the problem because they thought they got integrated into the whatever you call it, normal society, or they got integrated into the mainstream society, and we are giving them healthy polished rice and this PDS system. Why this high case of anemia or high levels of child malnourishment? What happened is, once the study with the anthropology or study, those who understood their culture, they went back to those village social settings, the tribal hamlets, they studied. They gave a report, interesting report saying that, one, their staple diet, millet, this is missing after once they got access to the PDS. Their production has decreased. So till now their genetics have adapted to this millet, which was fighting the malnourishment. So once people got access to the easy food, easy rice, they have stopped this production and consumption. Second thing, in their ritual practices, they believed that they used to eat some kind of leaves that will increase the iron content in the blood, saying these leaves are sacred. They have stopped taking iron pills, which is given by our Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Here again they have found out another new problem here. This is because lack of connectivity between the health personnel, be it ASHA worker, be it ANM over there, or the local medical practitioner, local doctor there. They had different dialect of speaking. They couldn't convince them. They couldn't convince these tribes to take the iron pills. So these things resulted in this high levels of anemia and child malnutrition. So once with the anthropology report, now what happened? This PDS distribution, they have changed it or corrected it so that it fits the needs of these tribes, and here this millet is again added to that PDS scheme, and also encouraged the local tribes for the millet production. And also these pills, they have created local dialect songs, tribal songs, to make them understand that this is going to help their health rather than it is going to harm them. Once they got connectivity, they also included local dialect speaking people as ASHA workers, health frontline warriors you call them. once this process got integrated, there has been tremendous change in this aspect of the goans. So now you see, where does this anthropology comes here? Once you see here, there are different aspects of anthropology, like nutritional anthropology, right? Then epidemiological anthropology, linguistic anthropology, then socio-cultural anthropology. So everything, now you see, once you start seeing the issues around you, you will get to know that one or the other dimension of that problem, one or the other aspect of that aspect of the society, that will be linked back to the basic thing called anthropology, because anthropology is a holistic science, complete science. It deals with everything under the sun. Everything under the sun will be getting interconnected or intertwined. The basic root would be anthropology. In fact, what is anthropology? Anthropology is nothing but study of us, isn't it? Study of humans. The same thing, anything you can relate. For example, if you relate with the recent India-Pakistan crisis. So difference in the problem of ethnicity, or taking Kashmir as a symbolic representative of the, or symbolic anthropology says that this is the symbolic pride. Both the nations are taking, that is the symbolism, symbolic anthropology. Or else take Trump tariffs, economic anthropology, where he puts his own interests first, just concise whole to a very narrow area where you can say his clan, his tribe's interests are much important to him rather than the outside thing. He says America is first, America first, right? So his clan's interests are first rather than the other things. So once you start seeing the things from the anthropological perspective, you will see different view of the society. So that is how the anthropology will make you a complete, your analysis of the things in a complete thing, rather than, so whatever we are seeing today, you will see in a different perspective. The same thing, I can quote you n number of examples. Let's say one, so what is ADR, alternate dispute redressal mechanism? Heard of this? Alternate dispute redressal mechanism, polity. So alternate dispute redressal mechanism is the things which you want to settle out rather than in the formal judiciary system, like mediation, arbitration. You might have heard, right? Legal Services Authority, NALSA, SALSA. So the basic aim of what is this ADR is, you don't want to go into the court, you don't want to drag it further, and you don't want to lose the resources. You want to settle it down. So like principles like mediation, arbitrations, all these come under this ADRs. This principle of ADRs was re-emphasized with one study from Gujarat. Bill community, where they have things called Bill Panchayats, where they emphasize more on this alternate dispute redressal mechanism. So almost once this has got integrated with the things in the judiciary system, there has been significant decrease on the number of cases, pending cases. Right? So you can interlink anything. Most of the things which we face are again interlinked with the socio-cultural things, either socio-cultural things are in the society, or if it is personal, go back to your basic genes. For example, let's say designer babies. The new concept of designer babies. So what does this designer babies say? So you want to have a kid where you want to design with having specific traits, isn't that? Again, which goes back to the basic thing called gene, allele. You want to have a tall child with fair color, with blue eyes, with long straight hair. So all this will be decided by what? End of the day, gene. Again, gene will be studied where? Physical anthropology, biological anthropology. Right, so that is the importance of anthropology. Rather than giving you, I am sure if you sit here with me for 5 months, I'll make sure that you'll get 280 plus if you follow strictly. And above 300, 320, that is from your efforts. But I am saying that what the important thing is, it will help you to see the things, analyze the things in a different way. It will give you an extra advantage. How that will help in your UPSC preparations, we will discuss further. So this was the thing I was talking about, Gond tribes, this Kodo Kutki millet. So this anthropological study has helped them correcting their anemia, malnutrition. So once with this basic knowledge, basic idea like why anthropology is important other than our UPSC, we'll see why it is important for our exam or how this anthropology will help our exam. So if you see the syllabus, basically this is what the dots of the syllabus are. Hope you have the syllabus in your paper. Hope you got that. Not in PYQ module, the other module will be having the syllabus. I think it would be on page 3 or page 4, I guess. One is PYQ module, not in that. Not in PYQ, the other thing, right? You got the syllabus, right? So if you see the syllabus, so there are basic things, basic understanding, like what do we study in anthropology as optional. So like the first one, where did we come from? How did we come from? How did we evolve? Where did we come from? So this is dealt by with your 1.1 to 1.6, your basics of anthropology, right? Primate evolution, biological evolution, socio-cultural evolution of 1.4, 1.5 of primate evolution, primatology, 1.6 hominid evolution. How come this hominid forms from Australopithecines to Neanderthals and then Homo sapiens. So all this, like where did we come from? How come the humans, like Homo sapiens as of we now, how come we got evolved? We'll get to know how different factors, be it biological or socio-cultural things, which played in this evolution form. For example, if I could say one important thing in this evolution is bipedalism. What is pedal? Foot, pedal, walking, bipedalism, walking on 2 feet. Quadra means 4 feet. So, change from quadrupedalism to bipedalism. Earlier, we are walking like our ancestors, let's say from primates, they were walking on the 4 feet. And then once they started walking due to the different changes in the environment or different changes in the physiology, they started walking on the 2 feet, bipedalism. What happened with this? This got free. Along with this thumb, this is called opposition. This is called counting, opposition, OPPOSI, opposition. This thumb, this got free. Once man got used, he got ability to use these things, he started exploring the nature. He created tools. Once he created tools, it started from basic hammering tool to the wheel to your current day smartphone, right? So once this bipedalism, a small thing which has corrected the evolution of the man, or else the same thing, this could be linked. So once bipedalism is started, so this is called pelvis bone. Pelvis bone. So pelvis bone, it's like, this will be in a shape like this, a bucket shape, where it will have inlet and outlet, some wash basin kind of shape. So once the human form, hominid form, started on walking two legs, this shape also got adjusted. If it was wide, if this is wide, how can you walk? You cannot walk like this, right? Or else you have to walk like this. This got adjusted. Once this got adjusted, pelvis shape got adjusted. Human skull, which was smaller, it got bigger now. Baby skull, because it has ample space to pass now. Once baby skull increased, what is inside the skull? Brain. Once the brain area increased, different parts like prefrontal cortex or whatever the things, once that got increased, his thinking capacity increased. His thinking capacity increased. So you see the pattern. This is having impact on this, and again this, a cyclical thing, each having impact on each thing, right? So once the thinking process evolved, his socio-cultural evolution began. So once his hands were free, he started using tools. He created a fire. Once he mastered how to create fire. At the night time, this fire acted as protection against the other wild animals. What happened once fire is there? Two, three hominids came together. Slowly, what happened? The social grouping started. Social grouping started. Did you get my point? Once there was something that is comforting them, 2-3 people started grouping there. Over a period of centuries, social groupings increased. Like earlier, let's say 3 hominids, then 10 hominids, 15 hominids. Once this grouping started, there came the concept of division of labor. One you go hunt, one you go gather the food, fruits or eatables. One you look after the offspring here. Division of labor started. Once division of labor started, there has to come in some rules to keep in check who has to order, who has to follow. Then the system of political anthropology started. Did you see the pattern? How slowly the evolution has decided this, all these things. So all these things, if you see, so where did we come from? So you're gonna read it from 1.1 to 1.6. And then what did we build? Like society, like polity, right? Or tools, culture. So 1.7 to 1.8, 2.1 to 2.2. So all that things, a continuation from where did we come from? This is what did we build? Like society, culture. Then what do we believe? Like what were the norms we have set up? Be it marriage, be it family, be it kinship. What is kinship? Kinship means how you relate with your relatives. So that is kinship. Then how is the power organized? So just like we discussed now, like how will one will follow, who will give the orders? What is the norm? What if he doesn't obey the order? Right? Whether he will be still accepted into that grouping or he will be omitted from the grouping. So all this like polity, and when different such polities are from, how will these interact with each other? Economic anthropology, which is your 3rd chapter. Economic anthropology. 4th one is political anthropology. And then 5th one is religion. So once People started evolving. The concept of believing in the natural things started, like belief in the thunder, belief in the rain, belief in the nature. Slowly this evolved into the different things like totemism, which we will discuss in the coming classes, like believing in one symbolic thing, just like tigers. Then from there it went to the concept called polytheism. What is polytheism? Believing in many gods. And from then monotheism. So this is about this religion. So you study how the religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs that shaped the human evolution. So all these things you study in the 5th chapter. And then in the 6th chapter, anthropological thought, different thinkers, different concepts right from evolution, historical or particularism, structuralism, functionalism. So different concepts, how each thinker came up with saying, this is how the human evolution has evolved. This is how the process has been done. Everyone has put up their ideas. Each had many pros, each had many cons. So we're going to study all these things in the 6th chapter. And in the 7th chapter, it is about linguistic anthropology. How come the humans alone could speak? Why not the other animals? And how did this linguistic ability change the course of human evolution? So this we're going to read in this linguistic anthropology. And then 8th chapter. In the 8th chapter, how these studies, how do you produce the data, or how do you bring all these theories, concepts, numbers, data, all this, the different research methods that you study in the 8th chapter. So this is your section A. Section A of paper 1. So why I am explaining in detail is, if you want to sit with the anthropology, or if you want to master anthropology for scoring 280 plus, trust me, you have to get accustomed to the syllabus. You have to keep the syllabus in your fingers. Once you get to know what to read, unless you get to know what to read, you cannot see the things. So I want you to go through the syllabus as many times as possible. I know no one can memorize that in 1 to 10 goes. Even I cannot memorize it. But once you do it for at least for 1 to 2 months randomly, that is not a big task. Just go through the syllabus whenever you find the time. Like what I am going to read, how to identify the important things in the day-to-day things which I could apply in my anthropology optional. So then that will be done only with your frequent look at the syllabus paper. You have to do that. So that is why I am in detail explaining you the importance of each chapter. So then from there, in the section B of paper 1, we move to the physical anthropology from 9th chapter, 9.1 from 9th chapter, and then 10, and then 11, and then 12. In the paper 1, so you start with the genes, genetics, different laws of genetics. All these things you study in the 9th chapter. How will your specific, just like we discussed, how each and specific data of human being will be decided by the genes. What if there is any mishap in this genetic process? All those things you're going to study in this 9th chapter. Like how would we stay healthy? And then how did we grow from, or the process of this thing, from the basic fetus to the death, from womb to tomb. So that you study in the 10th chapter, like basics of fertilization, right from the gamete stage, right from the sperm and ovum stage to the fertilization, and then how a baby grows, be it right from neonate. What is neonate? Any idea? So less than 1 month of age is called neonate. or to be specific, you can call 4 weeks, 28 days. So you might have heard this term multiple times while reading your GS, right? Neonatal mortality rate. And what is this infant? Infant means below 1 year. Neonate means below 1 month. So how this growth from neonate, infant, child, adult, and how does the process of aging happens? How does the process of death, a natural death sequence will initiate in humans? So all this we will study in the 10th chapter. In the 10th chapter. And in the 11th chapter, so we study about, so what does the chapter says? Yes, someone read it out. Sorry, be louder. 11th chapter. When? Sorry? Yes. The basics of fertility. The basics of fertility. How the population dynamics. All this will be read in this 11th chapter. And then 12th chapter finally, the applications of anthropology. So whatever we have studied now, with the good example of this millet thing, nutritional anthropology. So what different kinds of applications, be it sports anthropology or medical anthropology, right? Anthropology, role of anthropology in defense equipments. Like, just imagine how come DRDO can make the same kind of equipment which is suitable for the armed personnel fighting in the Kashmir with sub-freezing temperatures, and also for the armed personnel fighting in the Thar desert where they have above 50 degrees centigrade. Unless you have the anthropological data, how to make that more ergonomic, more comfortable, you cannot do that. The same equipment will not work. All, what do you call that? One size fits all approach will never work. So these are the different applications which we read in the 12th chapter. Anthropology of sports. Like, so to which games you have to select which different kinds of athletes. If it is short and stout, will you put them in the like athletic sports where they have to run and all? Or will you put them in the sports like shot put or wrestling? Wrestling would be better choice, right? Or the one who is tall, lean, they will do better in this long jump, high jump sports. So that is anthropology of sports. So different things which you gonna apply your knowledge, whatever you have studied from the physical anthropology, to apply in the different aspects of the society. So that is applied anthropology. This is all with your paper 1. And then paper 2, the first chapter deals with the Indian specific archaeological evolution. The same thing which you will read in the paper 1 of 1.6 and 1.8. The same thing with Indian context specific, you are going to read it here in the second paper. Second paper, first chapter. And then second chapter, it will be about demography. So the data about our census, NFHS data or SRS data or whatever the things which we are going to read. Then third and fifth chapters. Third chapter is specifically about the Indian society, which deals about the caste system, different relationship between different segments of the society, how caste has evolved, how it is currently now, or different impact of different religions on the caste, or different beliefs of the people over the religion and the caste. So all these subjects we read in the third chapter of the second paper. And in the fourth chapter, we read Indian anthropology's contribution, how anthropology evolved in India as such research study, and different contributions of the anthropologists. Just like in the sixth chapter, the first we'll be reading about anthropological thought, right? So similarly here, the contribution of the Indian anthropologists. In the fifth chapter, we'll read Indian village social system. Indian village social system. So this completes your section A of your second paper. And then section B, so it is 6th chapter, 7th chapter, 8th chapter and 9th chapter. So this is mainly focusing about the tribes, tribal anthropology. So be it basic tribe classification, different tribes in India, or different demographic data of these tribes in India, the problems they face, what are the different government schemes, constitutional machineries. Tell me, what are the different constitutional machineries which is working for the tribal upliftment? Yes? Can you be louder? Yes? Hope you are done with the polity. Yes, PESA Act, very good. Chappandi, parle. Be louder. And there is nothing to embarrass here. No one knows 100% everything under the sun. Either we learn or we correct our mistakes. Yes, PESA Act, anything else? Is there any constitutional body? Tribal ministry, that is executive body. Any constitutional body? Any national commission? 338, 338A. Forgot? Polity kavaleda? Sorry, okay. Not a problem. Right. So this, all these things, like we read about the tribe, their basic, whatever the classification of the tribe, different demographic data of the tribe, different problems associated with the tribe, different government schemes, constitutional mechanisms which are being implemented for the upliftment of the tribe, and then application of all this whatever you have studied in the way forward. So this is the basic understanding of the syllabus. Hope you got to know what we are going to read in the coming 4.5 months. So we are going to read how did we evolve, how did we, our thought process has evolved from society or culture in the name of family, religion, economy, and how did anthropological thinkers have put up this evolution, and at the basic human level, how did we evolve from the basic gene to this level, how does gene evolution will define our, be it different aspect, be it stature or whatever, our health, our longevity, our growth, our population dynamics, applications of anthropology. That is paper 1. And in the paper 2, Indian anthropology, archaeological evolution specific as such, Indian population, Indian village system, Indian society, caste, religious beliefs, contributions from the Indian anthropologists, and then tribal anthropology. Now tell me, how many topics did you find? This was in the paper 2, this was in paper 3, this was in ethics, this is in GS1. Tell me, how many topics did you find? Like Indian society, GS1, isn't it? And in GS2, welfare of the vulnerable groups. Don't you read? Constitutional mechanism for the vulnerable groups. Right? GS3, science and technology, where you read about this genetics part, biotechnology part, DNA fingerprinting, polymerase chain reaction, CRISPR, Cas9 protein, ethics, values, tolerance, compassion, understanding the view of the other guy, sympathy, empathy. How will you get to know all this? Once you know the basic cultural values, basic culture data. And you must be knowing the UPSC these days from the past couple of years is in more intended towards giving philosophical essays, more about your thought rather than basic static subjects like education or economy or women empowerment. He wanted to have your basic thoughts, right? So now tell me, how will won't all this studying, all this will help you in GS preparation? Trust me, definitely it will help you. You will get to know the different perspective. You will get to know you can do much better once you start reading anthropology. So don't think that optional syllabus in one compartment and the GS syllabus in one compartment which is watertight, they don't mix. No. With particular anthropology, I can say everything is interlinked. Just now we discussed many examples, right? Like national education policy we have discussed, Trump tariffs we have discussed, everything, right? So implementation of forest right tax. Unless people, once they own that, whatever the law which you are implementing in the tribes, for example, let's say there is one example called Tiger Conservation Program in Andhra Pradesh in Srisailam Tiger Reserve. So any idea which tribe lives there? Anyone from Kurnool district? Any idea which tribe lives in the Srisailam Tiger Reserve? Ever heard of Chenchu tribes? Chenchus. Chenchu tribes. So these are the tribes. They live in this Tiger Reserve. Once NTCA, what happened when the Project Tiger, in the part of the Project Tiger, they wanted to relocate these Chenchu tribes to enhance the tiger conservation project. But what anthropology suggested is, as already Chenchus, they have this sacred animal of tiger, they pray it, they symbolize it. Once this intervention started, Chenchus were appointed as guardians for this conservation project. So this had a significant number. I think with the recent data, this has got one of the highest in the second or first in the number of tigers. If you see the recent tiger estimation data, tremendous results, because they know the importance of living together. So multiple areas, be it environment or welfare activities, anywhere you get to know, anywhere you read in the GS, you can link it with the anthropology, right? So that is the importance of anthropology. That is why I am telling you multiple times. See, and this you might have multiple, you have seen, I can say number of examples. Just for example sake, I have took some people. Sorry. So see. So this fellow scored this. All these fellows are below 100 rank only. So this is 290, 306, and 315. So multiple things. I can say n number of examples. Just to show you, I got some couple of things. Do you know how much was the highest score in anthropology? Yes? As far as I know, it is 362. 362 by one girl called Lakshmi from Karnataka. Tremendous score. So I'm not saying everyone is going to reach that is thing, but as she does it, why cannot we? Isn't this thing? Once she is done, once she achieved that feat, even we can do that, right? There is one quote called, until it is done, everyone will say it cannot be done. Isn't it? So, with our plan, which we gonna do in the next 5 months, I can assure, I can put up you to the path of this score. That I can guarantee, if you strictly follow which I advise. And from there, so how many questions on average which you write in the mains examination? In the optional paper, 29 to 30 questions. So with increase of 1 to 1.5 mark per one question. I'm not expecting, I'm not saying any miracle. I'm just saying, if you can increase 1 to 1.5 mark per question, so this will become so this is where your efforts come in. If you strictly follow, I can assure this, and with your best efforts, this is easily achievable. You can do that. That I can promise. But all I need is your complete commitment to the optional. Right? So number of examples. One, as these fellows done, why can't we? Why can't we? And trust me, so there is one saying in a UPSC preparation, guys, like, not anthropology, optional will give you the rank. GS and SA will decide you which rank. Optional can make or break you. Either it can bring you to the list or it will throw you out of the list. Optional will make you, will give you access to the list, final list, sacred list, whatever you call it, the holy list. But GS and SA, that will decide your final rank. But optional is the thing which will decide whether you are going to be in the finalist or not. That I can say. That I can promise. So right. So why these people are scoring this, or why I am confident of saying that we can achieve that score? Because anthropology from UPSC is such an optional where you have to be very smart. Along with the hard work, you have to be very smart. So this is also, yes. So this is one picture, so which we try to map out. So how many 10 markers, 15 markers and 20 markers are coming every year from 2013 to last year, 2024. So which are the important chapters where you have to focus for 20 marker questions, where you have to focus for the 15 marker questions. So this is nothing but hotspot mapping. Not blindly throwing your stones into the dark, but a targeted aim, a planned way where you will be focusing upon what to read, where you have to put up your maximum efforts. A planned way. So people have worked on this and they are showing the result. This is paper 2. You can see which chapters, 9.1, 5.25 and 5th chapter. So these things, this smart analysis, these smart things will help you to focus upon which chapter, which topic. You will get to know once. All this you will get to know, you will be in this stage where once you cross understanding the syllabus, reading the syllabus and customizing the syllabus, then you will get to know, okay, this is how the pattern is. This maybe from this chapter, these 5 are the important topics which I should be emphasizing more. Once you get to know, so if some of you are cricket fans, once you get to know which kind of the ball the bowler will deliver in the next delivery, he'll easily hit it out of the park. Unless you know which kind of delivery is coming, you cannot do anything. Unless you know the path which is ahead of you, you cannot blindly run, right? So this thing I'll do, which I'll help you to do in the coming classes, where I'll help you in emphasizing on the hotspot mapping, important topics. I'll give the important value addition material which you need for the course preparation. Which this, what you call, generally I call, when I say this is a donkey work. The donkey work will be done by me here, which I'll make sure that you have to capitalize on that. I want you to capitalize on whichever the inputs which we are given in the class, so that we will reach that score of our target. Similarly, yes. Then what can you expect from my class, from here? One, I'll give you the conceptual clarity. Once you are having a defined clarity, we will not move further. That I can promise. I want you to have conceptual clarity because you are very fresh with the optional. You are not the rapid revision batch. You are very new to the subject. So I believe in having stronger foundation. Once you have stronger foundation, even if I am not there or you are not there with me after 5 months, once your foundation is fine, then you can build like anything. Either you read read with me or on your own or from other sources or from other things which you wanted to work upon. Your foundation, once your foundation is clear, it will be very easy for you to build it. So I will emphasize on the conceptual clarity. You can ask me multiple times. You can ask me in the class or you can ask me in person. That I will ensure that you understand the subject. Then I will emphasize on this scoring area focus, which I was saying about hotspot mapping, where I will let you know where you have to put more your efforts, where you have to concentrate more. Then I will give you important case studies, important value addition material, like just like we have discussed, different tribe data, different tribe things, where those will fit in according to our syllabus. So wherever it is needed, I will give you those. Then we will have periodical writing sessions in the classroom itself. Periodical writing sessions. Once we are done with the one chapter, or once you are accustomed with the topic and you go back, read the chapter, and I am sure that you are okay, then I will make sure you write in the classroom for 1 to 2 questions on each chapter. I want you to start answer writing practice from whenever I say. Don't have this belief of once I am done with the optional, I'll read the optional, then I'll join some test series. That pattern, it got rudimentary. That has been gone. So I want you to be ready for your mains examination once your prelims is over in 2026. So that means you have to finish the syllabus. You have to be ready with you have to be ready for your mains answers. You have to revise it. You have to do with your value addition material along with the class notes. Right? By the end of March or by the end of February, you have to be ready for the mains 2026 regarding anthropology. That I expect from you. Because there is no point in having this detailed foundation batch unless you don't have that advantage for those who come directly next year for the mains examination. So it is like you are 1 year senior now. I mean, when you see from 2026. So I want you to keep this in mind, that you have to be ready by March regarding anthropology optional. You have to strictly adhere to the class notes, revise it, recapitulate it, right? That you have to keep it in mind. Then, so this was regarding writing practice. That I will make sure that you do it, and we will have some tests also in between. On Sundays, anyway, I'm planning to take classes from Monday to Saturday. On Sundays, we'll plan some sectional tests once we are done with some significant portion of the syllabus. Right? Sectional tests. These sectional tests are other than those 1-2 questions which you write in the classroom. Then, so what I expect from you? So I want you to be having a learning mindset. It's not like you come here, just listen for 2-3 hours and go back and put back your notes aside. I don't want that. I want you to have the learning mindset. You come here, learn here, get to know new things, go back to your room, and here I'll take approximately 2 to 2.5 hours, 10 minutes, this way or that way. And then I want your at least 1.5 to 2 hours in your daily schedule for anthropology revision in the class, in your home or hostels. So don't keep whatever the thing that is finished in the classroom, don't keep that aside. Don't pile up your things, right? So you have to be in parallel with the revision also. Once you are in parallel with the revision, that will make you ready for whatever the timeline which I am being emphasizing upon by February end or March, that you will be ready for the mains examination. right? So then stay consistent, be it online or offline. I would advise offline. Stay consistent. And regarding notes, follow the running notes, and I will give you the class notes which along with the running notes, where for whichever the topics are that are important, I will give you the class notes, and I will give you some model notes also. I mean, like value addition material, whichever like you now you got, right? In similar way for specific topics which I want you, I will give you that too. And then believe in anthropology, believe in the process. This is achievable. I have shown you multiple examples. You have to be sincere with yourself. You have to keep reminding yourself that why you are in Ashok Nagar, sparing all your parents, your job ambitions or whatever the things. You have to keep that in mind every day and make sure that you work on that cause. So this is what I expect from you. And I have some general myths generally coming from the students regarding anthropology. I want to debunk that. One, this is for science background students. No. This is also for science background students, not for science only science background students. I can show you number of examples where people came from BTech or art background and scored 300, 320 plus. Right? Anudeep Duri Shetty, he's Hyderabad collector, I guess now. He's one of the examples. He scored exemplary score of 320, 325 something. Number of examples, not just doctors score better. I don't say that this is not advantage. This is advantage, but that doesn't mean that only these people should prepare. You can prepare, you can do it. And I'll make sure that wherever the extra science concept that might trouble you, we'll have some basic workshop, be it from bone form. See, basically the problem comes, that worry comes from where I cannot understand the terms of biology. I'll make sure that with the etymology and bone study, basic bone studies, I'll make sure that you get accustomed to that syllabus, that terms. This is where, and second thing is diagram. Diagram, you don't need to be Picasso. If you can represent whatever you are learning in a understandable and meaningful way, that is more than enough. If you can do that, then that is more than enough. So this is one of the myths, that this is only for science background. And there is one myth called, I have to do lot of mugging, lot of buttifying. I won't say that there is lot of buttifying, but trust me, tell me, wherever there are definitions or something where you have to remember crude data. For example, let's say science and technology. So and you are reading about this Chandrayaan 4. How will you remember? Isn't that memorizing? The parts of Chandrayaan 4 or parts of Aditya mission. The same way here, there are some aspects you have to remember it. That is not you are doing something which has come from the sky, which has come out of the sky. Basic stuff where the definitions are needed, there you have to, whatever you call, buttify it, mugging it, by heart it, I don't mind. There, that is like 2-3% of syllabus. That 2-3% will be in every syllabus, every be it PSI or PubBad or whatever. There will not be their definitions in PubBad, like what is public administration, what is development, right? So yes, this is not completely mugging up subject. There will be there which is similar to the other optionals also. Then, so there is one belief that anthropology will it score again like it continued. And if that is in your mind, can you tell me which optional will score next year? If there is, if you know that this optional will score highest next year, then everyone will sit in with that anthropology, with that optional, right? So this element of doubt will be with every optional. So what you have is, you have the old historic data, how the optional perform, what is the average score of the data, what is the time benefit analysis, effort benefit analysis. Based on this, anthropology is one of the very good subject that will fit in for your UPSC scores, which will fetch you a rank, that will help you in the GS preparation, that I can say. So if you come and ask me, sir, will I be getting 320 every year? You cannot promise with the other options also, right? Then there are too many diagrams. No, there are no too many diagrams. Wherever it is needed, I'll tell you that you practice. Once you practice that, we can go ahead. No, there are no too many diagrams. We are not writing botany, zoology. We are writing anthropology. Then it takes too much time? I don't think so. It doesn't take much time. 5 months, around 150 or 145 to 150 sessions of our class, and 3 months of your revision, which is very okay with the UPSC preparation. And trust me, some like demands of some specific subjects, like let's say PubAd or PSIR, where you have to be everyday integrating with the current affairs, with the very minute data, every happening. That segment or that amount of the burden will be better when you compare in the anthropology. And I'll help you integration with the current affairs every day. We'll have some separate group where I'll be posting which are relevant articles, relevant things which you have to see from the anthropology perspective, where we can value add in the notes, that we will work it out. Then some FAQs like, I have no background in anthropology, or I have no background in science, can I take it? Yes, you can definitely take it as an optional. Then, can I complete the syllabus before prelims? Yes, definitely you can complete the syllabus before prelims. Like, our target is to finish our course by 4.5 to 5 months, and then I'll make sure that you get one more strict revision before the March. So I want to make sure that you are ready for the mains examination. And then there is a, how many thinkers or how many tribes names should I remember? So it's not mugging up. Once you get accustomed to the syllabus, once you see them frequently. So now you have learned some tribe names today, Bills, Gonds, Chenchus, and these names will keep appearing in your, once we walk through the syllabus, you will get accustomed. There is no need that, to have to remember them artificially. You will get to know them easily. So there is no need of artificial mugging up of these tribes and all. Will this help in your essay or interview? Yes, as I said, philosophical essays, interview, tribal administration. Let's say your board chairman asks, what will you do if there is a tribe with the resistance? You wanted to develop a development project, you wanted to install some development project, and there is a resistance saying from the people that there is a temple there. How will you see? How are you going to make decision? And people, for example, you are an health, principal secretary of health, and you have started some vaccination, and there is a certain segment of society believes that this vaccination is to depopulate us. How will you overcome that? So such interview questions. Yes, anthropology will help us in answering you those such kind of interview questions. So these are some common myths and some questions from you. Any else questions which I have missed or you have in mind, please ask. Yes? No questions? Okay. Right. So these are the different things. So I want to conclude on this note. So anthropology is an optional which will fetch you rank definitely if you are sincere and if you follow what I expect you to do, that I can promise. So it's not also, along with this, I told you, you will start learning new things, you will see the world in a different way. Number of examples, like why do you throw akshintalu in the marriage? People believe that this is a symbol of fertility. Symbol of fertility. You will start seeing different aspects of the society in a different way, right? So that I can say. So I'll give you the concept, clarity, structure, what to read, where to read, how much to read, how much time to put your efforts, where to value add, and how to write. I'll make sure you to get to 280 plus and rest. If you feel confident after this session, yes, you can do this. Don't wait, we'll start from June. right? Let's crack this together. Thank you.